like we're getting doing this every week now. For the third week in a row, man, the wrestling industry lost another giant. Uh, Buddy Landell, who, I mean, again, a lot of people who listen to this podcast probably never fucking watched a Buddy Landell match. I've probably only ever seen one or two in my life, and that was during his very brief WWF run. But still an enormous power, enormous bucket of win in the wrestling business. So us, the Slamcast family, send our thoughts out to his family. And this moment of silence is for him. All right. Well, it's the Slamcast. It's not Friday. It's whenever you're listening to this podcast. It's Friday for me. It's whenever you're listening to this on the YouTube. It's Retro Unlim. It's me, Brandon. I'm joined as always by a man who's slightly under the weather, but he's still giving it his all 110%. Sniffles aren't going to stop this man, Mr. Michael Burhan. What's up, brother?
I'm wrestling with the sniffles. At least I'm doing
wrestling.
better than...
He's so sick he can't even say the word wrestling correctly.
I'm doing better at least than, Global Force Wrestling, who debuted a very disappointing 138 people in a baseball stadium.
We'll talk about that.
We both said it.
Pacing,
That makes
pacing.
me
Pacing.
that makes me out to be a main eventer, ladies and gentlemen.
Pacing.
Main eventer.
Pacing.
I think I need to get my ego on and be a Triple H. Just like
Well,
yeah.
we can do that when the time is right. Let's not jump
immediately out of the fucking stable.
Yeah, let's not jump right into the news. We still got to introduce everybody else.
No, that's not news. That's just general knowledge. That's the asking for the week. I'm just joking. But yeah,
What the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, seriously.
I'm
Seriously.
just dead. I am literally
Seriously. Just stop talking. Let me handle it. You sound like fucking shit.
I do.
Let me fucking handle it. All right? Seriously.
Okay, I'll just tag you in. Let me tag you in and I'll just
exactly.
stand at the ropes.
I was literally, yes, that's literally what I was just giving to you. Let me handle this. I can handle it.
Okay, I'm just going to stand over here now.
Stand over here now. All right.
Stand on the naughty step.
It's like you just like totally just like stepped on over everything. Like, you're a fucking idiot. What's wrong with you?
Sorry.
You sound like the angry
Anyway.
guy played by Ben Stiller from Friends. You idiot!
Anyway, we're joined as always by Mr. Dave Wade,
AKA John Zandig.
Hello.
Jesus!
Sorry. No, I prefer it if you called me Jesus, but just saying.
Oba!
And because our normal third guy or fourth guy isn't around,
I thought you were going to say he's in prison for some reason.
I forgot how. No, I literally forgot how many people do this show on.
He's busy drinking with other men at the moment, and that's not
He's doing
normal for him.
family shit. He's doing family shit. Nick Karachek can't be with us. We got somebody who is just as good, in my opinion, if not better. Mr. Miguel Leon. How's it going?
Oh, don't put me above Nick. He's a great producer. He filled in for Burhan for my show, so consider this me filling in for him tonight. How you doing, guys?
I like you better.
I love you too, sweetie.
How much did he pay you, Brandon? How much did he pay you? Come on.
I didn't pay him shit. I'm broke.
Yeah, exactly. Miguel's poor as fuck. I said that just because I wanted to.
Yeah, he was being nice, Burhan.
Yeah, so that's the intros. It's been an interesting week in the world of professional wrestling. Some things did happen.
The correct descriptive term you're looking for is topsy-turvy.
Wibbly wobbly.
It's some things be moving and some things be moving and shaking in the world of Impact Wrestling. Some rumors afloat.
Bitches be cray cray.
Bitches be cray cray. Well, put it this way. I'll tell the story. We'll lead off with this because this is actually something that really caught my mind. I actually watched 5 minutes of Impact Wrestling this week.
Oh my god, that must have been fucking strenuous.
It was actually.
Were you tied to a chair and your eyelids like
no
forced open?
I will say this.
Were you wearing your plastic pants?
Nope.
Ooh.
The only reason why I was watching it, to be honest, was to set my DVR for the replay of ROH.
Okay, I
So
can understand it now. There was a method to his madness, at least.
So you can imagine my surprise when I turn on Impact Wrestling to set my DVR to watch the replay of ROH Wrestling, to watch an incredible match between Roderick Strong and the King of Strong Style, Shinsuke Nakamura. When Jeff Jarrett...
Well pronunciated, by the way.
Yes, hi, King of Strong Style. I respect
Hi.
my king. Hi.
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 So, imagine my surprise when I turn on Impact Wrestling on my Destination America live, and Jeff Jarrett is standing in the middle of the ring. Yes, Zandig, exactly. That was my exact reaction. I was like, "Hate Club! I thought they were dead." That's never gonna get old. I'm gonna be doing the Hate Club joke for at least a good couple weeks now. Yes. Oh my god, you're gonna kill that for me.
No, that's gonna be the second time that I've done that on tonight's show, at least.
Yeah. Yes.
Don't worry about that.
Don't run it around because I love Zandig. So Jeff Jarrett was, and he's apparently Jeff Jarrett's gonna be at Slammiversary. That's big news. That's big news.
That is big news in terms of Jeff Jarrett. He's going to be in the King of the Mountain match. Think about that one, people. The King of the Mountain match. Brandon, you there? Oh, we lost Brandon. Hopefully he'll be back in a second. And we lost Miguel. we are basically going to be bringing them back.
Hey, we're Burhan the Boy.
Yes, we are Burhan the Boy for a second, trying to get everybody back and get homies, because shit in TNA is cray-cray at the moment.
See, this is what happens when you take those people's names in vain. The internet gods don't like it.
Yep, I agree. But we've been having... We saw kind of Jeff Jarrett in this situation. He's announced himself for the King of the Mountain match. And because he's been announced for the King of the Mountain match, which I didn't even know exists, because we've got a weird little pay-per-view going on. Ladies and gentlemen, for some reason the call's kind of gone a bit mishmash. I'm going to try and bring everybody back. So let's do that for the show. Bring everybody back on and start again, shall we? So let's bring everybody back into the call and continue our discussion about Mr. Zandig. So Mr. Ligon is back with us. Let's see if I can bring Miguel. For some reason, everyone went all autobotic. Oh no, we're live. No, I'm joking. We're not live. I can edit it. Let's go back.
We're live, pal.
We do live.
We're live, pal.
I hate Vince Russo. Wrestling is dead.
Is we back, bitches?
I guess.
We
here.
All right.
I can't see Dave. Is Dave here? Dave, you here?
I'm here, I think.
Well, I can't even see his icon. He's.
I could hear. We could hear him.
We can hear him. So yeah, let's continue. So yes, Jeff Jarrett's there. We've got a King of the Mountain match.
Yeah, he's gonna be in the King of the Mountain match in Slammiversary. That's a thing that's gonna happen. Not saying that it's gonna make me watch Slammiversary, but that's happening.
Can I just say one thing about this? The one word that pops to mind about this is underwhelming.
Yes, it was very underwhelming because it was a really great promo, or it was at least a promo that kept my attention for a while.
Until Karen.
No offense to the wrestler, but you can't polish a turd.
No, until Karen took the mic. Fuck me.
Oh god, yeah, that was. It made me want Jeff Jarrett to break a guitar over his own wife's head. I mean, I never wanted a Jeff Jarrett guitar smash to happen so bad in my life. When she was just droning on and on, and she, not to turn this into a Karen Angle, I hate Karen Angle party, but
I do.
She needs to sue her plastic surgeon because, man, they done fucked up her face.
Oh, she sounds like a.
She looks like her
Man
own
of
wax
Two
figure.
Swords.
She
Exactly.
does. Yeah, she does. She looks.
Looks like
She
Man of Two Swords, and someone turned on the heat a little bit and let her melt slightly.
she makes Stallone's disfigured face actually look like proper plastic surgery done by an A-star, plastic surgeon. It's
I mean, she's 90. Her face is like 40% cheekbone.
She looks like something out of a horror movie. WWE could produce a horror movie with her in it. Call it See No Evil 3,
Throw away my
starring
cheese,
her as Kane. Just her face though. Just have a face shot of Karen Angle as Kane.
Apart from Karen Angle's disturbing plastic
She
surgery.
should be Insidious 4.
Ooh.
just-
Let me just go all Shakespearean on your ass. Her disturbing visage.
Her disturbing visage. She didn't even say anything relevant. She just said, "I don't want to be here. I told Jeff he shouldn't be here, but I'm here anyway because I respect my husband and I'm his wife."
Was I the only one disturbed when she tried to cry?
I know. I don't think she was crying. I just assume it was collagen leaking out of what used to be her eyelids. Or something, because
I think it was her soul trying to escape the dead vessel.
No, it's like when Jeff told me.
This is really the most emotion I can show right now. They had to squirt some water into my eye, lemon into my eye, just so I could cry for
Underneath
this
my
moment.
face, I'm emotional, but you can't see it because it was ruined by a surgeon.
I wanted something bad to happen to her, and
I wanted a
that's
stage prop to land on her head. I'm not gonna lie.
She would, she's just as bad as Dixie Carter, in my opinion, where she's just so incoherent, and she sounds like a dog barking in the. You know, one of those dogs that's just tone deaf.
She sounds
So
like
it sits there.
John in an episode of Will and Grace.
No, at
It's
least
it's not Vicky Guerrero heat. Like
No.
Vicky Guerrero was so annoying. You just like this woman's voice. You couldn't get over how annoying this woman's voice is.
Yeah.
But you wanted to hear her talk more, so you could just. No, I just wanted Karen Angle to go away.
yeah,
I think
it's
we're missing a trick here, by the way, which is motor companies when they make car alarms that go meh 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 meh. They should just put her voice.
she
in the
does
car
sound
alarm,
like one.
because
She's
no one's gonna nick your fucking car if you hear that sure shit coming out.
she's a mixture. She's a mixture between Lois Griffin and a fox mating.
If she could fake a British accent, you could call her Lady Cassandra.
No,
Dr. Cassandra
she's
out there.
she is definitely no lady. But it's one of those things with me that turned me off from the show. It
By the
literally was
way,
just like
you
I
know,
do not.
This podcast, young lady, old lady, plastic lady, we're big fans.
Well, some parts of her are new. Some
Yeah.
parts of her are young.
Yeah, some parts of her were scraped from an old fetus's bottom. But it was one of those things where as soon as she got the
Are
mic,
you insinuating Karen Angle has illegal Mexican stem cell implants?
yes, they do. She basically went to Los Huevos just to get those implants.
It's 2/3 her face.
All right, let's
But-
let's get to the point of this whole thing, which is
Yes.
the fact that GFW is now working with
Well,
TNA. Brandon, would you like to? Give
Apparently, and it
Yes.
also could be insinuating that there has been rumours that have probably been started by Dave Meltzer because he's probably the biggest mark in the business because he's managed to actually let people. He's like the devil. He's allowed to. He's made people think that he actually knows anything about wrestling.
But he's right more often than he's wrong.
Yeah, but
So,
it's one of those things where he's basically they've gone out and said that Jarrett could be purchasing the company, which is a double-edged sword. I know me and Miguel have talked about this a little bit. As sort of a property itself.
Buy something that's hemorrhaging.
Well, that's the thing. The only thing that's keeping TNA sustainable is the Carter money. Now, let's get real here, right? They're not. It's not them turning a profit or being able to sustain it. The reason why it was sold to the Carters to begin with was because they needed that cash injection to make the company
I think
sustainable.
The greatest descriptive term anyone can apply to TNA right now is a swimming analogy, which is I think they're treading water.
Oh no, they're flushing the toilet, mate. They're not treading water. They're a
No, but
turd
they're
that's
still
about to
there,
go
that's what
down.
I'm saying. My point being, they're still there.
They're the
Fuck knows
Titanic
how.
that's hit the iceberg but hasn't sunk yet, even though you've got like all these freaking immigrants jumping off the damn boat.
Speaking of that, speaking of immigrants jumping off the damn boat, we saw it again. Another massive exodus of talent leaving the Impact roster. Miguel, who was all included in that? Because I don't really remember
Well,
exactly. There were some pretty big names.
as of at least a day or two, if I may pull up the actual, I may have actually clicked out of the article, but as recently as at least yesterday, we found out that Loki, formerly known as Senshi in early TNA, eventually they let him use his real wrestling name, left the company. He was there for a cup of coffee. I think he was a part of that whole Beatdown Clan faction that was.
Well,
going
wasn't
on.
a cup of coffee. He was there for the company's reboot prior.
On and off, like he would do a few spots here and there, but I don't remember him having a big long run with TNA. I mean, like within the last few months, but time seems to have flown with TNA.
Yeah.
Before that, you had Gunner and Sam Shaw.
Gunner was a guy that the TNA tried to promote as the next big kind of main eventer in the company. He had a body. He really didn't have much in terms of charisma or movesets.
I would say Gunner to me was like he was like the TNA equivalent of Test. He was a big guy that was maybe upper mid card at most, but that would be stressing it.
But they were trying to make everybody think that he was a main eventer. He's kind of, I'd say Lashley. He's kind of has that whole Lashley thing. He's
White Lashley.
Yeah, he's not the guy that you would expect to be a main eventer, but everyone else is like.
Dictionary. He's you can find him under the descriptive term mediocre. Sorry.
So
here's the thing, though. I don't disrespect TNA for wanting to push the guy because they really do need to push guys of their own creation. And like it or not, Gunner was a guy that they created. They pushed him as he's homegrown talent. So I can't diss TNA for doing that. I just never saw him as anything major. You were never going to have a marquee sold with the name Gunner. It just wasn't going to happen.
Well, they even tried to put him on because
he would be called a stocking filler.
He had a bit part in a B movie at some point as well, and they were promoting the crap out of it. But it was one of those things where it was just like, okay, it's not going to go anywhere. I didn't see that as a bad thing in terms of them getting rid of Gunner. Samuel Shaw was another one who they were trying to promote him as the next heel in the company, but they didn't know what they were going to do with him. At one point, I believe he was even he was partnered with a former Knockout turned NXT diva. You have to forgive me. My brain's it's early in the morning, so my brain's a bit fuzzy. Who's Enzo's cousin? What's her name? Carmella. The Carmella, who was formerly, she was a TNA Knockout on the TNA roster. He was partnered with her. They had a thing going on where she was going to be his psychotic girlfriend, but he was very, very generic in the sense TNA have got this. I don't know who it is on the creative on the pseudo creative team, but they had this thing where the guy was one of their many monster heels. They tend to do monster heels a bit too much. To the point where they would have Psychopath with a mustache, which is who he was. Then they had a Psychopath with a body, who Jesse Goddard's is. Then they had Psychopath with a beard, who Bram is. And then Psychopath with another beard, short Canadian Psychopath with a beard, Eric Young. So it's, you've got all these little psychopaths. He was kind of lost in the shuffle because he was a psychopath where they had so many psychopathic heels. There was nothing great about them that stood out. There was nothing
worked out their trend yet.
It's just the way these guys were being booked. So I don't see it as a loss. I think the massive loss between everybody who has been released from their contracts is Loki. Because Loki was part of a big heel faction. The company, even though they kind of watered the faction down, now apparently the faction has Hernandez. You still have Homicide, who's out of action at the moment.
An LAX reunion.
Yeah, they're both part of the Beatdown Clan now. And then you have Kenny King and MVP, who are the two founding members, who are basically the only two members of the Beatdown Clan who are left from the original faction. Joe saw the writing on the wall and kind of fucked off and made himself relevant again. Then you had Yeah, I think Loki's going to try and do the same thing. Either jump ship to Ring of Honor and see what you can do there as more of a credible contender for the ROH title and the TV championships, which would be a smart move. Or he'll probably see if he can get himself a working position in NXT, which a lot of the Ring of Honor guys have done. And it's
I don't
I
think
don't
he's
blame
gonna
him.
go back to the WWE. I really think that door he's had his cup of coffee in WWE. That wasn't his thing. Uh, uh, I just don't think he's a fit. I just don't think he's a fit there. ROH
Plus, also, you've got to
is,
remember that he's technically burnt his bridges now. So
yeah, ROH is I think we're the likely destination for him, or he'll just go back and tour Japan because he's a big commodity over in Japan.
Yeah, he retired like twice, didn't he? Because I remember he retired and then retired again, and then came back to go work for TNA.
Yes.
So
Yes, he did.
yes.
Well,
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, well, let's talk about obviously what this is leading to, the whole GFW quote unquote partnership. What could this lead to?
it's going to lead to tears.
It's going to lead to Impact Wrestling living on through GFW, I guess you could say, because the TV contract's going to go away, but I guess the talent that they have built up there, like EC3, Kurt Angle, all those guys are going to default.
Am I the only person who thinks this is an act of desperation?
Oh yeah,
No, it's an
you're
act
not
of desperation.
They are letting guys go, and I think they're allowing guys to leave because there is no plan B here for TNA.
It's a culling, is what it is. It's
Yeah.
guys that aren't
Only
going to
the
have
shall survive.
exactly. Look, you guys aren't going to have a future here in the new Impact Wrestling, Global Force Wrestling. See you later. Bye. Thanks
for your
I
hard
don't know
work.
here's the thing though. I don't know if I like this because if they're just going to dump most of the TNA roster and just replace it with the GFW roster, I don't hate the GFW roster, but I prefer a lot more of the TNA roster than I do GFW. GFW to me, too much of their roster is just pickups from either the Ring of Honor, the few Ring of Honor guys that they have, or guys from like mid 2000s WWE. I mean, I'm not getting excited to seeing the likes of Davey Boy Smith Jr. or Justin Gabriel or even Doc Gallows
from The Simpsons. Big up. Idiot.
Yeah, they're even like trying to put over the Bullet Club, who, if they do this GFW TNA merger thing, the Bullet Club is they're gonna take themselves out of it.
Put it this way.
No, the Bullet Club's not even going to be there. Bullet Club is working exclusively with Ring of Honor in New Japan, and they'll leave. You won't see them on GFW, and I don't think
if they actually make it to TV, like if it goes on like it says, and like if TNA stays on television, and they just
being the object
assimilate Global Force Wrestling into their own. That would be the only way they could survive is having the Bullet Club on here, because the Bullet Club is just such a hot thing in wrestling right now. It's like the insane clown posse of wrestling. It's permeated the
old,
culture.
Contradiction, which is don't put all your eggs in one basket, because that's what it basically is.
No, it's basically the whole thing that Miguel has stated from time to time is, as a company, TNA have they've kept trying to reboot, and this is going to be another reboot if they do this. It's not working.
Oh my god, they're the DC Comics of wrestling.
No, they're the freaking Marvel Comics of wrestling, because you see what Marvel's doing.
DC. No, they're DC.
It's
every
decade or so
we need to trim our franchise down.
It doesn't work. It's the whole mythology behind this.
You cheapen the fact that when you do this many fucking re-establishments of your franchise, you cheapen it in the sense that you're removing your own credibility by simply basically putting out there on a pedestal. Yeah, we got it wrong. Try again.
Yeah, and is this really considered a reboot though? When you consider that most of the GFW roster is former TNA guys. I mean, Chris Sabin, Scott Steiner, Jimmy Rave, Doc Gallows.
Oh my god! I never thought of this before. They're the afterlife of TNA. Like,
yeah, you're literally. It's not so much a
TNA wrestlers go to die.
Yeah, it's not so much reboot as just kind of we're taking back. It's basically almost like we're turning back the clock in a way, and we're bringing a couple other talents with us. The big question I have is who benefits what? does Global Force benefit?
So, sorry.
Does Global Force benefit being associated with TNA, or does TNA benefit from being associated with Global Force? Because I want to say TNA benefits from partnering with Jeff Jarrett, because I think they lost a lot when they lost Jeff Jarrett. If you talk to anybody who was formerly from TNA, they say as soon as Jeff left, they basically lost their locker room leader. Jeff was the guy that kind of kept everything settled. He was the guy, he was the throughput between the boys and Dixie Carter. And once that left, there was no vision, there was no leadership. If they can get Jeff Jarrett back, I think it benefits them because Jeff knows how to do business.
You think he'd go back?
I think if he bought the company, if they wanted to maybe partner some type of deal where he gets to run, maybe they buy Global Force, and absorb it into TNA, but Jeff gets to run it.
Oh, that
might be the best case scenario.
Bob Carter would not go for that. I will tell you why, because they don't even want TNA. It's Dixie's dollhouse. It literally is. If you could describe it, it's so Dixie can play. It's nothing. It's literally just them going, oh, you know what?
Wrote you a check. Here you go. Go and do whatever you want to.
Like,
because
here's the hypocrisy of it all. Dixie Carter's going to be back on TV in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And she's going to be playing the whole heel thing again in 3 weeks' time, or probably try and be a face. She doesn't. It's what basically Jim Cornette said. He goes, she just wants to go out there and hold the belt in her hand and shake the fans' hands because it's Dixie's little plaything. That's it.
I'm not going to do Cornette voice.
Yeah, because every time you do the Cornette voice, you're doing it like this for some reason.
Every time I'm doing the Cornette, I do early Cornette voice when it was much, much higher.
Dixie, she's like
Someone please think of the children. Son.
She's in the 2-horse race, but Dixie's got a lame leg.
Dixie's got a lame face.
She should be going. They should take her out to the stables and shoot her. But it's
Cornette impersonation, but I don't know what I should say.
You should just pretend like you're ordering from a Dairy Queen.
But yeah, as far, like I said, I don't know what to make of this. If this is just a one-time thing, just because they're just throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks, or if this is going to lead to something.
It really could be. You never know with this company. I don't know. But if the rumors are to be true,
waiting to happen, and an act of desperation, and that's my official stance and quote, and I will stand by it, which is this is gonna end in tears.
It's not gonna end well. It for me, this is just to convince Bob Carter to buy another company that's basically not even making bank. He's either that stupid.
It's desperation. That's what it is.
Yeah, he's either that stupid or Dixie is.
Like I said, their first show drew how many people?
138.
138 people.
I think what they want is, I think if there's anything on with GFW that's admirable to TNA or attractive to TNA, it's the overseas deals. Jeff Jarrett has created
Who's gonna fucking buy it though?
I like I said, if there's, Bob, I don't know. I mean, Bob Carter could.
He has expanded into other markets. Like I think he's got a lot of Asia and where's he invested in? Or
yeah, but
India.
Asia's
India.
got. Hey, so has India. I'm pretty sure they're gonna look at it and just go, No
I think. I think what they're hoping is Jeff sells GFW to TNA for a cheap deal, and maybe they bring Jeff back into the fold and most of that roster, and hopefully that bolsters them up to impress Destination America. I think that's their hope, that this deal, whatever going on,
I like the way you said that. I think that's their hope.
Yeah, that's their hope.
That when they had this meeting, when they decided that they were going to join these companies, every bloke in the office had their fingers crossed.
I guarantee you, what's going to happen is this: Destination America have made up their mind, and what they're doing, because apparently it's been said as well that they cannot confirm after the next 3 weeks worth of tapings. They cannot confirm any more tapings with talent until they figured out what the hell's going on with Destination America.
Here's the thing, though, Burhan. That's their big beef with TNA mostly is Dixie Carter. I think they're hoping that they can have Jeff Jarrett be the throughput between the Carters and Destination America, and it's not a bad idea. Jeff Jarrett is a great salesman, and honestly, if you put Dixie
Yeah,
Carter
I'll
and
give
Jeff
him that.
Jarrett, if you put Jeff Jarrett and Dixie Carter side by side and had the heads of Destination America choose to do business with either one, I think they would want to do business more with Jeff Jarrett than Dixie Carter. And I think TNA is hoping that Jeff Jarrett will kind of mend that distance between them and maybe give them kind of a reprieve, at least for a couple months. Maybe they can at least get to the end of the year.
You know what it is, and I'll explain what the issue is with this. It's not who they're dealing with. It's the money that they've got to put in to developing TNA's TV product. When with Ring of Honor, you've got a company that is self-made. So they're paying a lot cheaper for Ring of Honor, which is drawing roughly, like I believe it's seen a 20% increase so far. So
they had a huge bump in their numbers. But
yeah,
I mean,
we talked about it last week, which is Ring of Honor completely understands and accepts its market and its limitations and works within it. TNA is just...
But that's the thing.
Merger.
If you could, I would rather, if I was Destination America, I'd rather pay for a second hour of Ring of Honor product than I would for the 2 hours of tripe that TNA is putting out.
I think tripe is giving them too strong a positive term.
No, but do you know what I mean? It's I hate to say it because I'm a fan of TNA's product. Well, I'm not a fan of the booking, but as a company that could have been seen as an alternative, I was a fan of TNA. And I've actually tweeted out to Dixie Carter, I've tweeted out to TNA themselves, stating to them that they have no fucking clue what they're doing, right?
Well, this is a whole other, Slamcast, which is the problem with TNA is they just...
I could give you 10 things.
Fuck of mismanagement who don't understand.
Yeah, I could also give you 10 things, right, that's wrong with the company. Christy Hem is on the booking committee. Christy Hem.
No, she was. She's gone. She left.
Oh, she's left now. She's obviously saw the writing on the wall.
There you go. We can take one positive from TNA then for that.
You've got a bunch of guys who don't know what they're doing. You've got Dixie Carter, who always wants to be in front of the...
idiots in an office wearing suits who seem to think they know what the kids want, and they don't.
The one guy that they basically put in to the TNA staff who could have done something, with the lead singer from the Smashing Pumpkins, what's his name?
Billy
Corgan. He could actually, because he's worked with Resistance Pro Wrestling. He's worked behind the scenes, and he's worked with companies like ECW way back in the day as well. He knows, at least it would be someone who you could sit there and think he probably has a good idea what, with his finger on the pulse, but they're not allowing him to do anything apart from work as an agent backstage.
Strangled.
And use his name as a kind of an uplift for TNA. As a company, they have no clue what direction they want to go. They're ADD with their talent. They'll push Bobby Roode and then give him like a push for probably about 2-3 months and then decide to go in a different direction. They'll put Eric Young in the main event as a top heel and then change it to the Beatdown Gang.
They don't understand storytelling.
Yeah, the basic elements of storytelling. They have no idea. They don't know how to engage their audience. It's the reason why WWE's managed to develop this grassroots company that's destroying them.
That someone in the straits that they are would, accept or appreciate their position, and to quote The Simpsons again, dig up. But they treat their fans complacently.
Yeah. And you know what? And I'm going to say this as well. Josh Matthews, you are not fucking credible as a bloody announcer because you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Well, no. He's credible as an announcer. I agree.
No,
I don't think the heel announcer should be the lead announcer. He should have somebody, a face, to play off of.
No. Apparently he's a face for everybody else, but he's a heel for EC3, and it's like...
Okay, so it's kind of like how Michael Cole was for...
He's my buddy, and it's...
Michael Cole for Jack Swagger, because they came up through the WWE.
My issue is, when he's playing the straight man, he's fine. He's not as great as JR or anyone like that, but when he's playing the straight man, he's fine. When you try and give him any character development, he sounds like a pretentious little twat. And I'm sorry, you're not. Michael Cole at least ran with it and knew what he was doing with it, right? And had coaching, proper coaching, to kind of bring out the who.
He was working with Jerry Lawler, which,
Yeah.
you know,
Um,
Jerry. I guess it proves the show. Jerry Lawler could literally work with a broom and get him over.
Yeah.
And he got Michael Cole over.
Hell, he had one of the most credible matches in the Miz's title reign as WWE champion, if you remember.
Exactly, that ladder match.
Yeah, and this is before having a heart attack, for God's sake. So think about this, right? You've got that. You've got the they don't know what they're doing in terms of the way they're booking characters, the way that stables are going through. TNA has no idea what it wants to be, and they've got how many years have they been doing this now? It's like 15,
Almost
20 years? Almost 10 years as a company.
I think
Well,
wasn't their first show in their first show? I think was in 2003. So they were
Yeah.
a 12-year-old company.
Yeah, so you've been doing this for basically a century right now. A
Century?
decade. Sorry, a decade.
Century. Jesus Christ,
Again, I'm tired. A decade you've been doing this, and you still don't get it. This is what disturbs me. I've seen indie feds that if they were running for this long, they would have shut down by now. You know, and this is where the problem lies. They think, oh, it's the live touring, that's the problem. Oh, it's this is the problem. No, the problem
But
is...
the problem is you, but you can't fucking take an honest look in the mirror.
Yeah.
And
And even without Dixie Carter, it's going to be the same problem because these guys don't get it. And that's the problem. And the issue, I think, is they need to just move away from it now, let it die. Destination America, I've got a feeling, is going to probably negotiate with Ring of...
to actually employ people.
They're going to negotiate...
behind the scenes.
They're
not
gonna-
not the wrestling stuff. They need to actually employ people behind the scenes who understand what the fucking sport is.
They're going to negotiate with Ring of Honor, a far better company, to probably extend their wrestling's time slot if they're going to have an extra time slot on there.
But I don't want them to because I like Ring of Honor. I don't want them to leave.
They will. This is what's going to happen. They're going to negotiate for a 2-hour slot, and it's going to give Ring of Honor that boost. TNA will either dwindle or it will be to the point where they would hand it over to Jarrett. They will have no television deal whatsoever. They won't pick up a TV deal. They will try everything to get the company back functioning again, and it's going to be known as a name only. That's it. You know, if I was Dixie, I would look at...
a horse we were taken out into pasture and shot it a long time ago.
Yeah, because that horse is lame and they're still letting it run. It's done. It's over.
That horse, to be honest with me, that horse has been lame for a few years now.
Yeah.
That horse was lame when Hulk Hogan's daughter was getting married in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, and you still got...
Speaking of which, did you hear who might be returning to TNA?
Bully Ray, yeah, apparently is making a return to TNA.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what I said. I think the Global Force deal is going to kind of, as far as business, maybe in terms of like the private business, maybe help them out. I think having Jeff Jarrett as the face of the company as opposed to Dixie might do them more good. And I wonder if they're hoping that that's the case, if he can kind of be their surrogate to kind of do business for them. And hopefully it'll lead to them getting kind of a reprieve, as they say.
They're trying. You know, as I said, it's know
frustrating because you want them to learn a lesson, but at the same time you don't want this company to die because it does nobody no good.
No, it's true.
Yeah, no, fair point.
But Miguel, when the dog keeps shitting on the floor and you keep hitting it on the nose, when is it going to just be turned into abuse?
At the same time, though, you know,
Dark analogy, Burhan. Dark analogy.
Ring of Honor is a number 2 as far as a wrestling promotion, but as far as a business, I mean, TNA does still have a business behind it. You know, Ring of Honor really is just a big indie fed for all intents and purposes. Sinclair really, I don't think, have the mindset of this being... I don't think they have the mindset of getting into the wrestling business. They happen to just buy this product that gives them guaranteed, you know, shows on their affiliates. I don't know if they really have the wherewithal.
They're not fans. They're number guys.
Yeah. Whereas as far as TNA, at least they at one point had the ambition to be the number 2 promotion. I don't see that with Ring of Honor. I just see them as kind of just being a successful business, but just treading water as far as
No,
the
because
wrestling
I think I disagree. I think Ring of Honor knows its market and works it perfectly and exists within that bubble because they don't try and be anything else. They just go, we're Ring of Honor. This is what we get. This is what you understand. This is what our fans like. This is what we do. They don't punch above their weight. If that makes sense.
I guess that's a good thing because that was TNA's biggest downfall is they tried to go after WWE, especially when they brought in Hogan, and that blew up in their faces.
Which you can't. You can't.
We all knew that was going to blow up in their faces because it was just like, really.
I will admit to being a mark. I bought into it. I honestly did. I was thinking that by the end of 2010, they were going to get a 2.0 average, per episodes of Impact, and it was going to be a new uprising. I mean, I had hope. I was still a mark at the time, so I had hope in my heart that this was going to be the big paradigm shift that TNA was hoping for. And with a much better CEO or head of the company running it, it could have been, but
No,
too
they
many
needed
cooks
they
spoil
needed
the
a
broth.
booking team. They needed a proper booking team. They kept trying to do
They
the
need
hype
people
train.
to understand their bloody audience.
They-
Right?
Well,
did-
here's the thing, and that's the sad part. They had that. In 2009, they had guys like Scott D'Amore and
Yeah.
Dutch Mantell and
Yeah.
Savio Vega and Jim Cornette. And then Jeff Jarrett fucked Karen Angle, and they basically threw all those guys out.
Yeah,
No.
that was Jimmy was actually talking about it. He was like Jarrett was
They
their
cut their nose off to
go-between.
spite their own face, basically.
Jarrett was the go-between between him and Russo, and he goes, the one thing that Jeff had to admit that he had a problem with was he kept trying to give Russo a job and kept thinking that Russo was this messiah, and he wasn't. And when Jarrett got let go, then Russo decided to, politic his way to getting Corny out, and getting all the other guys that were Jarrett guys out. So once Dutch was gone, that was it. The gloves were off, and Cornette wanted to kill Vince Russo. And apparently, Vince and the guy who played the gobbledygooker, what was his name?
Terry Taylor.
Oh, yeah, the Red Rooster. There we go. Those two apparently had eyes set on them both running the company, and then Hogan and Bischoff got invited in. And when that happened, literally the writing was on the wall for both those guys. And it's
so many people were hoping that Bischoff was going to be, the creative mind to kind of propel TNA, and it was obvious.
he was there for a paycheck. Him and Hogan
Yeah,
were
he was
there
there
to
for
collect the
himself.
paycheck, and he's when Eric Bischoff is suing your company for non payment, there's a problem.
It's frustrating because no company in the history has had this many chances and just squandered it all. And I think we want to see TNA fail, but it's not going to help anybody. TNA not existing is going to hurt so many people.
Well, no, I agree with you there, which is, as much as I lambast and take the piss out of TNA, they're important because the market needs variety. Because if you don't have variety, then the other companies don't try that a little bit harder. That's a cliche, I know. But
especially now with WWE's Performance Center, I know that they've been making a push to go after independent talent more and more, but that seems to be more a sweetheart deal with Ring of Honor that they seem to have, almost like their ECW deal. Bobby Roode, I don't see getting picked up by the Performance Center.
Well, apparently he's on the radar. He is on the radar for it because he looks at a talent that they can actually cultivate and turn him into something else. He's still relatively young. He's in great shape. He's somebody who's, does have an ingrained fan base, believe it or not. That they could basically, with the right motivation and the right person behind him, can be booked. Austin Aries is kind of a bit more of a long shot, even though he's probably one of the better workers in the business. He's kind of from the same area as guys like Joe, AJ Styles, who again they're looking at the moment. Since AJ's success in Japan, apparently he's on their radar now. So they're going to see what they can do to kind of bring Styles in. I'm up for this as far as a lot of the talent acquisitions. And we did say, I remember we agreed to disagree on Eric Young. I believe Eric Young is someone who's tried, tested, and proved he can do anything. He's got a very good range on him. You believe he's just a comedy act through and through and just needs to be gone.
I think WWE would make him a comedy act. I honestly don't see them seeing him as anything more than that.
Don't think they're treating him credibly, basically.
Yeah, he does, to me, visually does not have that credibility. I mean, TNA managed to make something out of him as far as a heel. I mean, my favorite era of Eric Young was his World Elite gimmick. I actually really like that, and I wish they'd have pushed it more. But
I like his current gimmick. I think it's a great gimmick.
what,
The way,
Daniel Bryan 2.0?
not necessarily. He's more the aggressive, psychotic heel type, and I like it.
Okay.
He shows a lot more edge to him in terms of the way that his character works. He has kind of shed his old gimmick. That he kind of like he adds to it a little bit. He refers to it, but that Eric Young's gone. And this guy, he's muscular, he's dominant, he's aggressive, and he will spit on the American flag. That's how great he is. And I think he's someone that could be an asset to the WWE. Whether or not he gets out of NXT, if he does sign, is to be seen. But
Yeah.
in terms of padding out the roster and someone that could be a very good, strong mid-carder in the WWE, I think Eric Young could be that guy. And I think he could earn a good deal of money.
But no, you see, I agree, but there's potential, but only in the right hands.
Yes, and that's to be said about most of these guys, because a lot of these guys have been in the TNA bubble, and I think there's only a few of them that have actually stood out independently from the company, despite the extremely bad gimmicks they were given. Aries is
Yeah.
one of them. Rude is another. Young is another one.
Here's the problem I have with Austin Aries is I feel like he could have been in the same slot that Seth Rollins is in.
Yeah,
But they have Seth Rollins now, so why need an Austin Aries? I feel like
because he's
the-
someone that Rollins could work with as a foil. He could bounce off of. He could be someone that when the time comes and you need someone to put Rollins
Better have
over.
someone on your paycheck and never use them, but have the potential to do such, then have them work for the opposition.
Yeah, and he could be a career mid-carder to the point where he'd be the IC champion, the US champion, and even a tag team champion.
They
at
already
another
have
point.
that. That's Dolph Ziggler. I mean,
Well, who's basically been signed to another 3-year deal with the company. So I think he'll be a main eventer at some point, to the point
he
where apparently the murmuring goes, Dolph wanted a deal that would see him be pushed to the moon, or he was done.
You know what's gonna happen with Dolph Ziggler? He's gonna be one of those guys that is not going to get main event status or any big push now, but in 20 years when they need people to induct into the Hall of Fame, they'll whitewash him as being like, oh,
He's
he's
going to
this
end up as
amazing
the
worker
coulda been
who
guy.
yeah, they're gonna do to him what they did with Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect was never a main event guy, but they kind of were able to whitewash him and make him a much bigger deal now than he probably was back.
Oh, like
okay, all right.
like JYD.
This is where I'm gonna come to the defense of one of my childhood heroes. Yes, he was a mid-carder, but you cannot argue with his ring ability. He was absolutely,
He was a workhorse.
unequivocally one of the best on the roster at that time.
Who's that?
At that
in the
time,
ring.
sure. At that
Wait,
time,
who's
sure,
this
I will
who
give
we're
it to you,
talking
but-
about?
Yeah,
Mr. Perfect.
you could say the same thing about Dolph Ziggler, though.
The thing is, I think
see
Kurt
that-
Hennig could have been the guy, but the reason why he wasn't the guy was Hogan,
Yeah, exactly.
in my opinion. Hennig is one of those guys, on the microphone, in the ring, you couldn't touch him. And the problem is, he never got that opportunity because when he jumped to WCW, he jumped for the money. Right? He didn't jump for anything else.
No, he actually, I think, no, that was Bobby Heenan. I remember, I thought in the case of Hennig, the reason that he dropped was insurance.
No, he ended up basically, he was injured because of insurance for the WWE. So, but when he was eligible to return, he was either going to continue claiming his insurance, or he was like, no, I'm well enough, I can do it. And the WWE was just like, and Vince was like, no, stay on commentary. He left. It's pretty much the same situation that happened with Randy Savage, where he was put on commentary to heal up, and he was like, I want to work with this guy. Oh no, you're too old now. And he's like, motherfucker, I've still got a good 10 years left in me. Which is where the problem lay.
But yeah, I have a feeling that Dolph Ziggler is going to be one of those journeyman mid-carders that in 20 years we're going to look back on and say, oh, he was an amazing talent, and we're going to build him up as this big, influential talent where, you look at him now, he is just a journeyman mid-carder. I mean, he's talented, but here's a guy who's just never, I don't think they're ever going to give him another main event push. And if they do, it'll be a Benoit one shot, one deal kind of thing where it's like, all right.
I agree with you there. He's going to get one more shot, and That's gonna be it.
Yeah, it's to
That's gonna
keep
be-
him. They're going to do it to keep him happy for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
He's gonna get the JBL legacy,
Not even, because JBL,
award.
I think they actually tried to push as a legitimate main event guy, and
towards the end of his career after he had already been with the company 10 years.
yeah, but they hit on something big with that JBL gimmick. I don't
Exactly.
see Dolph.
Well,
I don't
look,
see.
there you go.
Here's the thing: is I don't see Dolph Ziggler's gimmick evolving. I think he's going to be the same guy. He's going to be 3 years from now. I don't see much evolution in the Dolph Ziggler character. I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I think they're just going to keep him as the smiley, bleach blonde baby face that, is there for filling in the third spot or, being used to elevate whatever heel they need to elevate for a John Cena or Roman Reigns. But I don't see him reinventing himself and getting this newfound glory as this, basically having the Chris Jericho revival that he did back in 2008. I don't see it with Dolph Ziggler. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd like to be proven wrong, but I just don't see it.
Well, in my opinion, and I'm going to probably get a lot of heat for saying this, I consider Ziggler a far superior worker than Chris Jericho.
Yeah, I'll give you some heat for saying that. I mean, I think they're on. I think far superior is where I'm going to stick with you on that. I think they're absolutely on par, ability-wise. Jericho, because he's got the experience, has that wealth of knowledge. But I think
Are we? Oh, wait a
athletically-
minute. What time period are we talking? Chris Jericho, 2005, 2008, early 90s.
I give Jericho now.
I think
I
after
feel in the
the
moment. I feel in the
Undisputed
moment, man.
after the Undisputed Championship, probably Jericho. You couldn't touch Jericho in his feud with Michaels, but anything after, I wouldn't consider Jericho that type of guy who was on par. And reason being was a lot of his, I think a lot of his matches after the whole Michaels thing and his part-time status are mostly him just coming in,
Status, but handle English.
putting himself over, and then going again. Do you know what I mean? There's no relevance.
I love it when Dave corrects. Dave corrects
Very
me.
There's no, in my opinion, I just don't see. I think where Dolph Ziggler's been consistent. Like, think about a guy that managed to put over a huge double turn in a shocking conclusion.
The best descriptive term you can give to him is basically he's a consummate professional and a workhorse.
And he's engaging. I've never seen a dull Dolph Ziggler moment. Even when they tried to cut his hair and make him generic, Ziggler still won people over with his personality and his ring work.
Nothing in it.
And with
cut his hair.
well, what they did. Do you remember that when they gave him that brown generic look and tried to give him the generic tights, and Ziggler had that look on his face like he wanted to punch someone, and Vicky was just like, it'll take time, and he was just like, and it's
skinny jeans at him.
but it was still engaging. He has managed to engage with his audience. He managed to put on.
Oh, I'm
I've
taking
never,
tips, but no,
I've never seen, even when he's in lower card matches, I've never seen the guy put on a bad match, and that's where I kind of feel that him and Jericho have differed. I feel that Jericho, depending on who he works with, he stands out. When he's working with guys that he doesn't stand out with, like the whole thing with Fandango, I felt Fandango Jericho feud was a good feud, but he was like shitting all over Fandango like he was nothing in comparison to him. But I felt there was, in terms of booking, I felt if the WWE had more faith in Fandango, it would have worked, but it didn't. Do you know what I mean?
WrestleMania. Fandango beat him at WrestleMania.
No, he did. And Jericho spent the majority of his time on his podcast and telling anyone who would matter that it was the bad idea for Fandango to go over him. And it was like, no, you don't shit on the guy you put over. Do you know what I mean? This is where I think the line draws, and I think Ziggler is the guy who'll put anybody over, and he'll do it and make it look like a fucking main event match.
My problem is, what is this what type of image is this going to put for Ziggler when it comes to some of the talent? Because I have a feeling a lot of the older, bitter, legends that are probably going to look at him like, oh, he's just there to smile and collect a paycheck, and Everybody says he's this great thing. Well, if he was, why isn't he, wrestling somewhere else? Why isn't he just, cuckolding to WWE's favor?
The thing is, when it comes to WWE, it is a paycheck. One of them. Two, it's because he hasn't done everything yet. He hasn't done the big thing yet. He hasn't won the big championship. He hasn't main evented WrestleMania. Daniel Bryan has done more with his short career than Ziggler has done with his long career in the WWE. But to say about Ziggler, he had better progression. He went from being a guy considered part of the Spirit Squad, never going to be anything bigger than that, to being more, to being the showstopper, to taking a gimmick that was so shit with him going around saying, "Hi, my name's Dolph Ziggler" to everybody, and putting that over and single-handedly helping evolve that gimmick to something of a main event caliber talent. He's made a lot of people forget about who Dolph Ziggler was in the past and know who this guy is. And to me, he's very 80s chic. He's luminescent.
Yeah, I like that.
He's luminescent. He's very rugged. He's very edgy. But again, he has that kind of effeminate, boyish, toy boy kind of charm to him as well.
He's a decade out of place.
Well, he has that kind of Mr. Perfect work ethic, but a Shawn Michael-esque look. And he's a guy that can work with several different styles, including big men to small men to ring work generals as well. He can work with them. He had an amazing feud with John Cena at one point, from when he had the MITB case, and he's one of those guys that I feel has the talent and has all the tools to make it to the top. And a lot of what's been hindering,
that they've overlooked.
well, yeah, a lot of what's been hindering him was because of his past concussion and the company being like, oh, and as you said, the old boys at the back going, oh, don't push him, he's injury prone, don't push him. And that's kind of where Triple H is kind of trying to get rid of that stigma. And I think because they need more heel and faces at the top, they need people to replace Cena. If the rumors are true about Cena and his t-shirt sales, they need that next guy. And Ziggler can be that next guy if they allow him to be. And I think the 3-year deal was kind of them saying, okay, this is your last chance. Impress us. If you can't impress us, leave.
The problem is, as I said before, that the people who make the calls and decisions upon, what can effectively be the next big guy are a bunch of fucking idiots in suits in an office who have no clue what's fucking going on.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And when it comes to Ziggler, I have a big belief that this guy is going to be going straight to the top. If he's going to be there, I don't believe he's going to be a career main eventer, but he will have his limelight.
I misheard that. My internet popped. I thought you said, I don't believe he's going to be in Korea.
No, he won't be a career main eventer like Cena, but he will be at the top.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. Which is, he's not that person to be, your poster boy as such, but he is a very solid individual and worker.
He'll be the Randy Orton guy. He's the guy that you'll put in that slot to give the other guy a bit of rest.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm.
There's no shame in that.
Yeah, I'm all for it in my opinion.
I knew all along that Ziggler wasn't really gonna leave the WWE. I think this was really just posturing for him to get what he wants or get some sort of.
It was a
maybe
negotiation.
Not in writing, but hey, at least take me seriously because I can do other things. Not saying he would, but he could. He could do stand-up comedy.
It's like a football player. He threw his toys out of his pram to the attention of the individuals who pay his.
Well, except where football players can't do anything else, he could do something.
Yeah, and I think he'd be a great talk show host as well. I think Dolph Ziggler, once he decides to hang up the boots, I could see him taking over something like The Daily Show.
Or having that sort of program and stuff like that. He's very good at stand-up. He's very good at stand-up comedy. He used to date Amy Schumer.
Yeah, the WWE.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
oh
the WWE knew, and apparently the reason why they split up, she said he was too much of a handful in terms of the bedroom.
I was just going to say she was talking about his penis, wasn't she?
No, yeah, pretty much. She was just like he had so much energy, which is good. But the factoid here, the way that it goes is they know he has potential. They know this guy has all the tools.
Well, they're never going to bring it, though.
I disagree. I disagree. I think Triple H is in that mindset now where he's like, we need to find the next big guy because Cena is dwindling in terms of his his rapport with the fans. You could tell people are distancing away
People are
from
bored with him. Let's
pretty
be honest.
much. Even though he does some great matches.
Exactly. His matches have been like the best his career has ever been.
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
but
no,
his T-shirt sales.
It's
Brilliant.
almost like
Format.
someone has exposed him.
Yeah, his T-shirt sales are dwindling. A lot of them are blaming guys like Kevin Owens
I
for
love the
that
fact
happening.
we live in a world that you can get fired because of your T-shirt.
Well, not really get fired. It's just they know that he's passe now.
It's gonna be it's not gonna get fired. It's gonna be the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
He's no longer gonna be.
He's no longer relevant.
Cylinder.
Yeah.
Well, no, exactly. That's the point I was going to make, Bohan, which is, you know what? He's professional. He's brilliant. He's had his moment. I'm not writing him off, or anything like that. Cena fans, don't fill my inbox like my previous video because, quite frankly, it gets old. It's just, it's more of the same, and a change is as good as a rest. To be cliche.
It's the fact is he's not. He is passe now. It gets to the point where it's the same with like movie icons. You have that one guy who's a box office, amazing box office draw, but they can only hold on to that for so many years until the next guy comes in and kind of knocks them off the pedestal.
It's stretching a towel.
He's
Water,
been stretching for like so many years now, and it's at that point where and I hate to say it, but he's seen as.
What I said, I like him. In fact,
Yeah.
I have a sticker of him on my fucking laptop.
But he is seen.
Nation, so.
He is seen as archaic now, so they need that next guy. And I think Ziggler has all the tools to be that guy. Roman Reigns isn't ready yet, and we've
The biggest
proven.
problem with WWE is, which I understand because they're a company and they make money and they need to make money, is
They need that draw. They need that number one draw.
yeah, but they're too scared to let go of someone and promote the new product because they're a company. Whereas you can take a wrestler so far, and
They
no offense,
are.
Cena, no offense, Cena, I like you, but the
The
problem
thing is-
being, you take someone too far, people get bored.
No, he was the safe bet. Cena was the safe bet, and now he's no longer being that safe bet. So they're moving on to the next guy. So hopefully.
Yeah, you get my point, though, don't you?
Reigns will
Take
eventually,
it too far.
Reigns will eventually occupy that spot. If even though the fans are kind of cheering for Ambrose, Reigns will eventually occupy that spot. The issue they're having at the moment is they need to find that other guy that can kind of do it as well, because without Ziggler or someone like him, there's going to be no foil to kind of go against Rollins, because Rollins is going to be that heel champion that you're going to have loads of different contenders at him. They've shown some semblance of it at the moment, but there's going to be more. It's going to become more apparent, and it will be one way to help him stay relevant as a heel champion. But eventually, you're going to have that one guy who knocks him over, who's got to be Reigns. No doubt, no shadow of doubt, that's going to be Reigns. But Ziggler's got to fill that void. Ziggler will probably get his run, and they know there is a lot of
I worry
steam.
that he'll get his run and then they'll discard him.
There's a lot of steam. There's a lot of talent in Ziggler, and I don't think, as a company, I don't think they want to let him go just yet. So they've got a 3-year deal. They're like, right, here's your 3-year deal. Show us you can do this. Show us that you can actually make us believe that you should be in this spot, and he's going to either prove him right or he's going to prove him wrong. Either way, I can't wait to see what they do with Ziggler. They partnered him with Lana as well, so obviously they've got an idea what they're going to do with him.
I think that's just to keep him, keep that rivalry.
You're always
hot while-
needed, Miguel. You're always needed.
I think that Ziggler is there to put Lana over. I think they're using her. They need a baby face to put over Lana as the next baby face, and that's going to be
Yes.
Ziggler.
And there you go. And also because I think they do have intentions whenever Rusev
Hey,
is
Brandon,
healthy.
why do you sound like you're in a cave?
Sounds like he's in a. He sounds like he's in a toilet stall.
I had the
Sorry.
microphone up. Oh, because my. Okay, no. Is it better now?
Yeah.
You're always better. I
Can I
was
just
just a
also
little bit
say
curious
I-
because you sound like you were echoing and it scared me.
I had
I had the microphone up in my headphones, and I didn't.
Yeah, go on, Miguel.
Can I also just say I was not impressed with the way Lana looked without the makeup on Raw. It was weird seeing her without the red lipstick and with all that makeup on. Like it's just weird. Like I don't know what to say.
Can we laugh though at
She
Stalker
wasn't.
Rusev?
She wasn't her, basically.
I love Stalker. I'm gonna point out. I love Stalker Rusev. It's hilarious.
Stalker Rusev's gonna show up outside of Dolph Ziggler's match, blasting Peter Gabriel. It's coming. I guarantee you.
Well, how's he gonna hold it? He's got to hold on to his crutches.
He'll have somebody else.
Well, that blonde that kind of cornered him afterwards when he was sitting there on the floor going,
Oh, Bird Girl.
yeah.
Love Summer Rae, but she does look like a bird.
Here, Melissa, you're tearing me apart, Lana.
You're tearing me apart, Lana. Or would it be?
So,
You're tearing me apart, Lana.
Are they just gonna have her get rid of her Russian accent, or is she gonna try to tweak it and maybe lessen the accent down?
Oh no! Eventually,
accent.
eventually she's just gonna go automatic, like Kofi Kingston did, where he was talking Jamaican and suddenly he's American. They're like, and DX just stood there, and went, "Wait, you're American?
Yeah.
Well, aren't you from
That's a
Jamaica?"
Jamaican accent.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that this is everything in movies, wrestling, everything. I just love the fact that when they drop the shtick, you're supposed to just accept it and run with it, which is, hey, I'm not Russian anymore.
Yeah.
Just deal with it.
I'm not even going to get started on the whole
So
fucking.
complacent
Oh,
to your fans.
when you were revealed as Abyss like 3 months ago, no, I'm still Joseph Park.
You did that last week.
Yeah.
But some other interesting notes that happened on Raw this week. Although our Lord and Savior did bless us with his presence for a second week, there was an injury at the hands of our Lord and Savior.
Oof. Yes, there was.
And I'm saddened to say this. It had to be Jamie Noble. Brock, our Lord and Savior,
Fucked up
has
Jamie Noble.
he fucking almost killed Jamie Noble. Brock Lesnar doesn't know his own strength. Brock Lesnar might be the living embodiment of the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. He's a freak of nature.
Say,
It's okay, bro. It's okay, Brock. You
don't
can throw me
just
around.
say,
Yeah. Oh shit!
Shit.
Nydia. Oh wait, wrong gimmick.
Oh man, I literally just
He knocked him. He knocked him so hard he thought he was in like freaking 2002.
Oh man.
Oh man.
There was it several broken. Did they think he had like a
3.
pierced lung at one point?
He broke at least 3 ribs.
Man, I hope he got paid extra. I hope they just reimbursed him somehow. I will
Yeah.
say this. I have heard rumblings online because I know Kidman has been throwing out tweets that they may be slotting him to replace that role while Jamie Noble is healing up. I'd be fine with that.
Well, Billy Kidman.
Yeah, because Kidman is an agent backstage.
I don't know
I wouldn't
why.
mind seeing that. Kidman and Matthews. That's not a that
would
on
work.
paper is not a bad team.
It does make me laugh though. As long as he doesn't come out to that bloody song, that theme music, which I had no idea. That rap song, this society is going over me.
So bad.
And people are just like, what the fuck is
my
this?
ears bleed like.
No, people are just like, what was
Wait a minute,
why?
wait a minute. Hold on. Better or worse than the X Factor theme song, the one with Uncle Cracker?
Oh, I
That's
love
terrible.
that
That's my least
song.
favorite.
You're dealing with the X Factor. I got everything I ever wanted, and I ain't gonna give that back. Yeah.
This is so
Shut up.
fucking.
One moment, Burhan. Miguel, you can't ask us that question. That's like trying to find the atom before World War II.
Well, I'm saying Billy Kidman was worse than Uncle Cracker.
It was just very grossly inappropriate. For New Jack, yes.
It was one of those where he just comes out and just gets this new theme music, and everyone's like, instead of everyone going, "Yay, good new theme music," everyone was like, "What the fuck?"
The look on the crowd's face at the time.
Yeah, it was just like, is he South African or is he just like? Because I swear this.
To be fair though, Billy Kidman and DMX are about the same size.
Yeah,
I'm gonna run you down.
let's get it on.
Anyway.
Yeah. Also, did you see the news? Apparently, it's been reported that Daniel Bryan has suffered a Bret Hart-like concussion In similar vein to Bret
Wait,
Hart,
wait, wait.
sustained.
That's a medical descriptive term. They compare
Well,
someone's
let me
concussion to someone
elaborate.
else's.
Let me elaborate because apparently his concussion is a similar one in similar vein to Bret Hart's concussion that he suffered at the hands of Goldberg. It wasn't Bryan's neck that was the problem. It was the fact that when his match with Sheamus on SmackDown, Sheamus went a little bit too far and caused Bryan to have a career-ending concussion.
I like
Hasn't
the
he
fact
done that
doctors
before?
now are so lazy that they don't actually describe someone's individual
But
peril
this,
or problem.
we're,
They just say he's got a concussion like that.
but
bloke on TV."
apparently the WWE have a kind of a company policy of not actually letting anybody know that you're injured. And he's kind of in the grieving stages, is what Bret Hart has
Good
kind of
luck
let.
getting insurance.
Bret Hart recently let the cat out of the bag in terms of this situation, and it's kind of one of the reasons why I think the company's being as receptive to Bryan as they're being. I think he's got a career with the company for life, in terms of
So
working
basically, what
backstage,
the WWE is
training
saying
other
right now is
people.
our, stance as a company is our wrestlers don't bleed.
It's more the fact of let's reward the guy who injured him and gave him a concussion with the MITB briefcase.
You know, the only reason they gave him that was because he's going to be in the TMNT sequel.
Yeah, for me, if it's true, if this is because apparently Brett's saying it's true, but if it is true, then they need to really do something about Sheamus. It's you've got to solve a problem like Sheamus here. It's not just the fact that he has that shitty gimmick. It's the fact this guy is, since coming back, I know they were like, oh, be aggressive, be over as an aggressive heel. Going out of your way to injure someone and getting to the point where they had a career-ending concussion.
Trying to prove a point by, being unprofessional and hurting another individual is just fucking...
No, I believe some of it is also due to Bryan, because I know what Daniel Bryan's like. The dude would go out there and he will put on a strong style Japanese match and say, hurt me, to make it look real as possible and to try and make the match look as authentic as possible. And that's part of his charm, but in the end, me and Brandon both said it. No, he had to tone it down when he came back. He was supposed to. He didn't. And seeing, And,
so he was under order to actually, get his shit in line?
When you're coming back from a career-threatening injury, that's kind of what you do.
But what I'm saying is he was under company orders.
They were like, tone it down a bit. And,
Big move then.
He's part of the, him wanting to be as authentic as possible is probably part of the reason he's in this situation. But Sheamus, if the guy's that unsafe, I in my opinion, I would look at one, reprimanding him, and two, I would not have this guy anywhere near the world title picture.
Stick him on the naughty step, I say, because if that's entirely true, then dude, you need to take it down a step because you have no right to incur injury on other people that may affect their career.
What do you think, Brandon?
Look, I think it's an unfortunate accident. I don't think it was intentional. These things happen in a business where guys beat each other up fakely. So I don't think he can be blamed. I don't think he should be punished. I don't think he should be world heavyweight champion, but I don't think he is going to be world heavyweight champion. I really think he is a placeholder for somebody else.
But surely he deserves a reprimand to say play nice, son. Play nice.
Yeah, he's probably going to be the next monster heel that they're going to try and get Reigns to kind of plow.
Yeah.
But
I'm still looking forward. I'm still looking forward to Samoan Cena versus Irish Cena.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah,
I call him lukewarm Cena. But it's
popcorn Saturday right there.
For me. I'm really astonished by this whole situation, but I can't lay the blame totally on Sheamus on this one because you could tell it's probably partly Bryan's fault for this. And that's why I don't think you see Bryan sitting there shitting all over Sheamus about it.
Yeah,
I think
exactly. These guys have enough, courtesy and respect for each other outside of the ring where they're not gonna let it.
Yeah, well, when it happened to Brett and Goldberg, Brett was like fucking tearing Goldberg a new one every chance he got.
It's slightly different circumstances when Goldberg's involved because obviously Goldberg at that point in time had only been in the business 5 years at maximum.
Yeah.
Sheamus is like a 10-year vet at least. So,
Yeah.
I think accidents happen, man. You can't blame the guy. And if Daniel Bryan is done, you know,
They
I
should
hate
still
to,
play nice though and show respect to
yeah, I think they are. I think they are
Yeah.
doing that.
You know what? On the one hand, you can't really be sad because he really has done it all.
He
I mean,
has.
at this point,
Homeboy's done well for
He's
himself.
won every championship in the WWE. Think about it.
yeah,
From someone who's considered an indie darling, who wasn't fit for the WWE, who was fired at one point, to being a man who's main evented WrestleMania, won multiple world championships, has won both mid card championships in the company, tag title reign, and has been one of the most over guys to the point of actually outselling Cena in t-shirt sales.
yeah. And you can't really hate on the guy even if he has to retire. I mean, what he has to spend time at home collecting residuals and banging one of the hottest women in the Divas division. I mean, I think Mark Madden said it
What
best.
a
You're
poor
no
man.
one. Yeah, no one is shedding tears for Daniel Bryan, and I'm not saying that to be mean or anything, but my point is that if there's one thing that upsets me is that he was one of the few last breaths of a fan created babyface. WWE for years has been pushing baby faces that the fans
He was
have
a
kind of.
pioneer of the original stage of wrestling when it was WWF in WWE when it became convoluted and political and
No, it's
it's
always
Well,
been
no,
it's always
no.
been political.
Yeah,
It's
but
they
Daniel Bryan was really the last breath
yeah,
of a face that got pushed because the fans wanted him to,
yeah.
and I think because of Bryan, we're probably never ever going to see that. WWE is going to make damn sure that
oh my
they're
god, it's the Paul Gascoigne of fucking wrestling.
No, they
yeah.
had the kind of Hogan template. It's who Vince wanted, and he always had a set idea of who he wants and how he wanted them to be pushed. Brian was kind of that he was in that whole Austin boat of things of a guy who wasn't ever seen as that main event guy being put into the main event.
hmm
And I
Yeah,
agree with
he
you,
forced.
Miguel.
Yeah, he forced them to change their hand, and they're never gonna let that happen again.
Well,
They're
he
never
never
gonna give
forced
credit.
them. The fans forced them
Well,
because he
yeah,
was.
the fans forced them. That's what I meant.
Yeah, he was.
They're never going to let the
So
fans dictate that
you're
ever
basically
again.
saying he's the last sort of individual that carried public support to such an extent that it affected the company.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he changed the way that the company perceived guys of his size and caliber, and his look. But I disagree with you there. I don't think he's going to be the last. I think we're going to see more. Ambrose is another guy that I think is going to have a very lengthy run at the top eventually. Not
I
yet,
have a
but
feeling
eventually.
Ambrose is going to be in the same spot Ziggler is. I think he's going to be an upper mid card guy that they can use to slot in when they need a third man to kind of work with Reigns, or if Orton when he's a baby face, or Sheamus when he's a baby face. I think they know who they want in the main event, and there are just certain guys that aren't going to get that spot. And until they prove me wrong, I just don't see it. I don't see when you put a lineup of guys that have been to the main event: Cena, Sheamus, Orton, Reigns. Guys like Ambrose just stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, good call.
Okay, so moving on from that, I'm just having a look at the. We've got also.
Do we want to talk about Lucha Underground and their Emmy nomination?
Yes,
Yes.
and also the fact that we also need to talk about the elephant in the room with the company. Apparently, there is still no sign of a second season on the El
So
Rey
am I. The
network.
minute you said that, I just completely unmuted and muted again.
Yeah, the on the El Rey network, there's no sign of a second season as of yet. A lot of wrestlers who are tied into these Lucha Underground contracts are now taking independent bookings and are actually looking at leaving the company because they don't know where direction it's going to go. And for something as you've talked about, Miguel, it stands out so much that it's got an Emmy nomination. This company was not just seen as a pro wrestling company.
Really?
It has, yeah. It was like
they're being put under the reality TV banner.
Yeah.
It looks like they're going to be in this. They're just voting, so they haven't actually gotten the nomination. But if they get nominated, they'll be up there with the likes of Bar Rescue, MythBusters, Shark Tank.
In the same bracket as all those other fucking train wrecks and stuff.
And Miguel, you need to give me the link for that so we can see if we can push it heavily and get people
I'm kind
to.
of a little bit happy with the fact that finally you
I'll
know,
put it in
outside of your
I'll put it in the
mainstream
Skype.
service, you're going to get some recognition for what you do.
Well, it's not just considered a wrestling show. The thing about it, what makes it so unique, is it has a lot more elements to it. You know,
It's got
it
production.
yeah, it has production. It's got a budget. It's got stories that are very outside of the box, but
Better produce the most fucking movies.
they're very fictional, kind of TV-esque. It's also got an executive producer, by
Burnett.
yeah, and also the gentleman whose production company is producing the banner as well, a very well-known film and TV director.
Oh, Robert Rodriguez.
Yes,
Wait,
Okay.
what?
yeah,
Really?
Yeah,
yeah.
Robert Rodriguez owns the El Rey Network, and Lucha Underground is an original property of theirs. So yeah,
Oh,
he's
I
co-producing.
honestly didn't know. Right, I know I'm still technically the newbie. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's kind of impressive.
See, the problem and the reason why WWE has never officially gotten an Emmy nomination, because people are wondering, well, why doesn't WWE fall into there? WWE has never officially recognized themselves as a reality TV show. They're a reality TV show when it's convenient to them, and then they're a sports company when it's convenient to them. They tend to flip flop on what type of sports, on what type of TV branding they
So they
are.
got their hands in both, pockets, dependent upon what suits them at the time, basically.
Yeah, and because of that, the Emmy board laughs at them. From what I've heard, they don't even take them seriously as a contender. But
No
because
one
Lucha
takes
Underground-
WWE seriously because they keep trying to. No matter how far the WWE are going to try and get themselves ingrained in pop culture, they will never, ever be considered. They can keep making their WWE films, but they will never be taken seriously by Hollywood, by TV, as a serious primetime television show.
Yeah, and
It is what it is.
I hope that they win because I would love to.
I
see
hope
the
they
next-
win because, quite frankly, the shite that's on telly right now, and you look at WWE as a company, they produce very solid, wonderful fucking shows, and then they get beaten by Big Brother.
Well, here's the thing though. Here's what makes me laugh is WWE, and I'm quoting Jim Cornette on this, so your mileage may vary, but he has gone on record and saying how much WWE hates the stigma of being a professional wrestling product. To the
Oh,
point
you
to
could
where,
tell.
Yeah, just to the point to where Kevin Dunn outright, tries to ban the word wrestling from products.
It's not
and whatnot.
wrestling. Not wrestling at all. It's supposed
So,
to turn.
and
Well,
Cornette has
that's
outright
insane.
said his big goal is to get an Emmy nomination, as this big time producer. To see a small time company like Lucha Underground, a dedicated wrestling company, get an Emmy nomination, his fucking head is just gonna explode. And I'm laughing inside about that, man. I hate that a guy like Kevin Dunn
If he
is
gets
so
it,
much
if he gets
power.
it, right? I'm gonna.
No, but this is the
I'm gonna
reason.
tell
This is the reason. It's
scammers
not
from Botetics,
a
but-
wrestling show. Does that make sense? It's not.
No,
It's
it
more
does.
of a wrestling show than WWE is. They're willing to admit to being wrestling more than WWE.
But it's
does.
not just that. They have ingrained storylines. They have these, like, I wouldn't call them cut scenes, but they would have these little scenes that are ingrained in the show itself.
I
It's a
compare
no-
them to Ring of Honor in the sense that they understand their market.
No,
Not
they
even.
focus
Here's-
a lot more on lucha than anything else.
Here's what they are. You ready? They are a telenovela with wrestling.
Yes.
That's all they
And
are.
that's the main thing. It's because they actually integrate these kind of two genres of television together rather well, and it works to the effect that it's engaging. They actually even hide the fact that these wrestlers.
Them to Ring of Honor, which is they understand their market and they don't punch above their weight.
And that's exactly it. And that's why they said we're not going to do touring shows. Because we're not that type of company. We're just going to do a series. If it gets picked up for a second series, we'll do a second series. And then a third series. And we'll do these specialised like pay-per-views at the end of each series to kind of round off the stories. And it works because
They take it on the cuff, basically. They run with, the bone they've thrown.
Yeah.
It really does suck that a guy like Kevin Dunn is so ingrained in WWE because I think if, let's say, Lucha Underground doesn't get picked up for a second season and they end up going out of business, if I were Stephen Trips, I would go after the production team that works on Lucha Underground and try to bring them into WWE, but it's never going to happen. A guy like Kevin Dunn's never going to give up his spot or be fired unless Vince does it, which he won't. I would love to see that look put on a WWE brand with the production value that they with the money production money that they have. That would freshen up the product so much.
Yeah. That's the thing. They could try that on next NXT because they're looking at trying to do more innovative stuff with NXT. I think that production value would be amazing, and I think it was even done on a budget. Believe it or not, it's not expensive $1 million budgets. It's done. It's not the techniques used. It's the way they've used them. And a lot of it is cinematic tones, the grading, the way they use the dark colours, the blues, the browns, as a way to kind of accentuate the mood. The storytelling that they're using in terms of the small little scenes that they do, the telenovela scenes, and integrate them with the wrestling as well. The way that they allow the wrestlers to kind of stand out and have these little unique sessions where they can show some of their acting chops. It's an organisation that has everything in terms of producing and creating a quality product. I really do hope they do win their Emmy. I hope they get nominated and I hope they win because, in my opinion, I think they deserve it.
And also,
I've
it's good
never,
for the industry.
yeah, and I've never had a problem with Lucha Underground at all since its inception. I've watched every episode, and they had the former what was her name from NXT?
Evilise.
Yeah, Evilise. But what was her name in NXT?
I think it was just Evilise.
Was it Evilise?
Mm-hmm.
No. She had. She was with the former Fandango when he was Johnny something. Fuck, what was her name? But she plays that whole kind of. She plays a sexy Paul Bearer, in a sense. If you see her character in Lucha Underground, she has this dead man who's following.
I think we just found our episode title.
Sexy Paul Bearer. She has this thing where she's raised this lucha guy from the dead, and she's built this army up together as well. They've got a thing where men compete against women. They don't stigmatize anybody. It's very groundbreaking. It's nouveau. Her character does this thing where when someone ends up getting destroyed by her like big bad heel, she'll lick their face. As kind of like a kiss of death thing. It's engaging. She's very sultry.
She's more than welcome to lick my face. So.
Dude, trust me.
Sexy Paul Bearer. Oh yes.
Sexy Paul Bearer. Oh yes. Just have a look. She's got this like big rock thing that looks like an urn. I don't know what exactly it
sounded
is.
so sexy creepy.
It is.
It is. Big rock thing that looked like an urn.
Dave, I will give you the links to the episodes, but
No,
check
I
it
know
out.
what she's got. I'm just saying, when you describe it like that, you're just like, hey, Burhan, well done. You just described porn.
Yeah, but literally it has that kind of porno-esque element to it, but it's more kind of film porn, if that makes sense.
I thought there was only one kind of porn, and it was on film.
No, but
Otherwise it's called
that cinematic kind of softcore porn thing? She has that kind of thing going on.
50 Shades of Dave.
Kind of, she's very sultry. She works well with her character, and I think for a lot of the guys that you've seen in Lucha Underground, who are very ex WWE, ex TNA guys who have lost their way, this gives them a chance to.
Right now?
Yeah, go.
I would.
Yeah, this gives it a whole different edge to it, and I like it. I'm enjoying Lucha Underground, and I really do hope it gets picked up for a second season. But at the moment, that's in doubt.
Really?
Yeah.
The reason is because.
But it's so well received.
It is,
so
but at the same
cute.
time, it's so expensive to put on. It's just not making enough money.
El Rey are basically looking in terms of advertising revenue and if they can actually sell it.
Once again, the fans lose because of the complicated economics of companies. Sorry.
Well, if they get the Emmy nod, that might cause them
you
to
know what,
just
that's
keep it
fine.
going.
If they get the Emmy, then guaranteed it comes back. But
Yeah, if they get the Emmy nomination, at least that might spur them to at least go another season.
Yeah, it'll give them a bit more leverage. I think what they will end up doing is they'll cull some of the expensive contracts and probably keep a few of the guys that are least expensive. The luchas.
Stuff like that. But can't some independent company look upon this as the diamond in the rough and just go, people love this shit? If it gets dumped by, the people who produce it now, can someone else come along and scoop it up?
No.
But I think it's just.
Well, here's the thing:
it's the right money.
Isn't Lucha? But Lucha Underground really isn't a federation per se. Aren't they just a TV show.
They're just a
not
TV.
Yeah, they're
That's
not an
that's
actual
the
federation.
thing.
There's nothing
Yeah,
to sell.
they're just a TV show. This is what they kept themselves as, because a lot of the talents from like AAA and stuff like that, but they do have guys in exclusive contracts who can't work anywhere else with a TV deal. You know,
Yeah, that's why they just lost Hernandez.
Yeah.
Hernandez was signed to a Lucha Underground contract, and they just let him go, and he just popped up on Impact.
yeah, and a lot of that was just due to the fact that his future is in doubt, and I think they don't know yet whether the company itself is gonna do any more tapings. So what they've done, I think they've released a lot of guys from their contracts and let them do their thing.
I
But
will say this: if it ever gets to the point to where they have to release Johnny Mundo, that's one talent I think TNA should try to break the bank to get in. I'm a big Johnny Mundo fan. I really do think a guy like him could be a main eventer for TNA. Either him or Prince Puma.
he should have been a main eventer in the WWE, and I think I'm surprised why the WWE haven't re-signed him. I think a lot of it is just due to the way that he left. Apparently, he didn't leave on good terms.
He left. They offered to keep him around the same way they did Ziggler, and he was like, "No, I'm gonna go somewhere else." Like
He was like, he went basically. He goes, "Are you gonna push me to get the title?" And they're like, "No." He's like, "Well, I'm not. I don't want to stay." You know. Oh, excuse me.
All right. Well, that was interesting. No, like I said,
Sexy
I think
Paul Bearer. There you go.
Sexy Paul Bear. I think Lucha Underground does have a future. I hope they don't go way of the dinosaur. But that's like, it's like Dave said, man. It's not up to us. It's a corporate
But
thing.
the scary thing is, if they get picked up for like a big studio or something like that, then aren't they gonna, possibly seeing that we love this and inject a massive amount of cash, and a bunch of blokes, going back to what I said previous with Burhan, in suits in offices, are going to say, we know what the kids want. And
The problem is, TV execs have never seen wrestling as a profitable.
Well, I don't think Robert Rodriguez is going to run his network like a traditional TV network, but are they going to have the funding? Because, like I said, they are a very small television network. They're not.
Yeah, but the bottom
have
line
the
that
resources.
scares me with shit like this, and scares me with shit like anything, is ultimately you have to bow down to your paymasters.
And at the end of the day, if it's basically increasing viewerships, because I know El Rey is pretty much like HBO, it's a paid network.
We look at it right now, we love and we enjoy, but they get like a big paycheck from a big studio or whatever, and say like, here you go, you can carry on.
I think a lot of it
changes though I would like to make, and it's like then all of a sudden we wake up one day, even though they got the production value, and we don't have the show we love because idiots in suits got involved.
Well, let's defer our focus away from that.
Sorry.
And should we round the show off and then go to the Iron Sheet Tweet of the Week?
I kind of just wanted to talk about one last thing because
Go for it.
I found it very, very interesting this weekend. Well, next weekend, really, or by the time we do our next show, which actually I don't. We'll talk about that later.
Are we gonna do a best of, by the way, like you talked about last week?
We're gonna do that eventually. Yes. Someone have to think of best of, but we're just basically gonna.
Yeah, I might set that one out because clearly there's nothing best about me. But
no, please. It's happening. It's happening very soon. WWE's big tour of Japan is going to be taking place this coming week.
This made by the way, Ron, this made the newspapers in this country. By the way,
WWE's tour of Japan.
Yeah.
It's a pretty
surprised. It was in.
It's a pretty big. It's a pretty big deal.
It's a really big thing in the US, but not in the UK.
So I call it Brock Lesnar's excuse for a holiday.
I was kind of surprised when I went to the back of the newspaper to check up the sports story, and look!
I mean, this is a big deal. I mean, this is going to be Brock's first return back to Japan since his whole acrimonious dispute with New Japan Pro Wrestling and
sorry, I just laughed because I know that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was. What do you think it was over? Money and appearance fees.
Exactly.
You know, I'm not gonna hate. Not gonna hate. The guy's got to get his pay. Guy's got to get his paper up. But it's gonna be interesting to see how the Japanese fans, one, react to Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
Two, it's gonna see how many Japanese fans actually really turn out because they're also.
I think I'll get a good. I'm talking about Brian's book.
It will sell
I
out.
think they'll
It
get a good
will.
audience.
No, it will sell out. Trust me.
I think they'll do fine, but are they gonna have to worry about a little competition? Because New Japan is running their big show down in Osaka as well, and they got
They're going to heckle
AJ's.
the shit out of him, but the bottom line is they all want him to be there.
It's going to be AJ Styles against Okada for the IWG. Do you think that takes away from WWE's gate? I mean, that's a pretty
No.
big match.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
The WWE steam machine's just going to keep on rolling in New Japan?
Yeah. No, but
This-
I don't think it's the WWE Steam Machine. I believe it's because of Brock Lesnar. I think that because he's such a big enough attraction, the Japs are going to be sitting there going, "Oh,
We must flog this man.
he is the
Sure.
incredible." They probably see him
I
as
like
like
to think
White
when
Hulk.
Lesnar actually slams the bloke, everyone in the audience just goes, "Konnichiwa."
Now, see, this is where the inner wrestling fan in me wants it to go back to the old school '90s way, where there's some sort of confrontation between the two
Yeah,
companies.
but then
like maybe,
this is what's interesting about it going over there, at least to me. And you know, granted, you all know far more about wrestling than I do. But what I like about this is, I think it could potentially be the throwback to the '90s of wrestling. You know, WWF. Not
I mean,
WWE.
we're getting a real kind of global competition. This WWE's really trying to compete with New Japan, or New Japan's trying to compete with WWE, or at least increase their market share in America by their
I think you meant to say mucker. Sorry.
market share in America.
Which they're trying to do with their new like streaming service as well, which is
And the partnership with ROH.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be an emerging battlefield in the world of wrestling. New Japan versus WWE. Look, it's no coincidence that WWE is putting on one of their live specials the same weekend as New Japan is having one of their
Bold
big,
call.
big. This is big. This is big main event. And here's why I think this is important. Okay, going further on this, AJ Styles and WWE are going to be confirmed in the same country at the same time. This is going to be where we could finally settle all the talks. What is AJ going to do beyond this? Because if he drops the belt to Okada, pretty much say he's pretty much done in New Japan.
Either way, though,
and he's
either
gonna go
way,
to-
I think
back to America.
It's going to be like a fantastic and shiny show.
Oh, put it this way: if you live in Japan, and if you're listening to the show and you live in Japan, first of all,
Konnichiwa.
konnichiwa, and domo arigato for
Mr. Roboto.
listening
Break.
to the show. Um,
I had
if you
to.
live in Japan this week, it's gonna be a hell of a week for you to be a wrestling fan. That's all I'm gonna say. And it's. I think
I would like to make an open letter to Japan. Can I do that? Dear Japan, come and embrace wrestling. Just make sure you stay
Oh,
away from
dude,
parts
dude.
of your country that have nuclear fallout.
Dude, when I was training, one of my goals was to go to Japan. I was actually going to head to Mexico before I got injured, train in lucha, then head to Japan and do some tours there before seeing if I can actually get in the New Japan dojo.
Ooh,
So
sexy.
you know, I wanted to train myself in all styles, including the Japanese strong style.
Sweep the floor like a young boy.
Damn fucking straight. I wouldn't care. I'd be fucking working.
Sleep on the dojo floor.
Yeah, damn straight. It's the way that you would do it, because for me, it meant a lot. You know, in terms of wrestling, if you're not in it to be the all round best, like what Finn Balor has done,
What are you doing?
exactly. You know, and that's the thing as well. We're going to see the NXT Championship go on the line with Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor, which, in my opinion, I see this as being Finn Balor's opportunity. He's going to be
Ascension?
cemented. Yeah.
I think this is too. I think there's a reason why they're making this such a big thing.
Oh, I love the videos. You know, the vignettes they've been doing.
Yeah,
You know.
I think they're gonna put the belt on Balor in a place where he's extremely popular. He's huge, enormously popular in Japan. I mean, he did found the Bullet Club, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
Too sweet. Um,
Toot sweet.
Too sweet to all my fellow Bullet Club brethren out there.
Super kick!
Oh my god, it was great watching Kevin Kelly call the super kick party.
Super kick!
Anyway, that's besides the point.
I love
think
that.
I think this competition is going a little bit both ways because the same weekend as SummerSlam, when
Sorry.
Super kick!
when NXT is running their show day before SummerSlam. Oh fuck! Goddamn! Hell of a time for my controller to die, Xbox. Hang on, I'm gonna get the controller so I got headphones.
Xbox on.
Shut up! Already on.
That,
Break, sorry.
You're supposed to say off is what you're supposed to say. But,
Xbox, suck me
Xbox
off.
it's already
Xbox porn.
I already plugged in my headphones, you fuckers. So there.
Oh, shut up. You just love yourself because you look like every British comedian with long hair I've ever met in my life.
Yes. So anyway, like I was gonna say, this competition is going both ways because New Japan has happened to partner up with ROH for another one of their patented tours the same exact weekend. I think this is an emerging battlefield. Stay tuned. The emerging war between New Japan and WWE.
How's that looking out for you, by the way? Battlefield. Sorry, just quick.
Hardline is pretty good, man. It's different. It's like it's a game that rewards
Sorry,
you
wrestling fans, I just have to ask because we talked about it behind the scenes previously, which is I think it's an underrated gem in the wild.
Yeah, it's definitely an underrated gem. Great game. But I haven't played it anymore since.
So the only thing I don't like about it is you can't be extortionate and be a bad cop.
No, you can't. You can't. Although I think there's like one of the expansion packs or DLCs for it. You can play as a bad cop.
You can be. Oh my god! Wait, sorry, wrestling fans. Wait, there's an expansion pack where you can be a bad cop.
I think
Okay.
it just says it's like it gives it away in the name. I don't remember what.
Okay, we can talk more about this on. We could talk. No. We could talk more about this off. We could talk more about this after the show. So let's go on to our Iron Sheik tweet of the week.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, wrong one.
I want to know, are you the man or are you a fucking piece of shit? No good motherfucker. Fucking bullshit! Bullshit Hogan, I'm the red, all-American gold medal. You are good. You are the best. But you know, I beat the fuck up. Fuck! Oh, ho, ho! You know it, jabroni!
I wish that soundbite had a hand so I could high five it. Sorry.
That song makes me tingly everywhere.
It makes him moist.
Makes me tingly everywhere.
Did you put sand in your vagina?
Everywhere. So this past Sunday was Father's Day in this lovely country.
Bought my dad a lovely card, by the way, and
That's-
because I'm a classy bloke, my Father's Day card had Peter Griffin on it. Just saying.
That's
And your dad was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Exactly. Yeah. I don't get it, Dave. I don't get it. Never mind, Dad.
Super duper classy. Iron Sheik had a couple
Hang
special.
on 1 second. When you opened the card, though, it made a fart noise.
Anyway,
And I like to pretend every time my dad opened the card that he was holding his ass to Meg's face. Sorry.
Dave, let Burhan get to the tweet.
You're like,
you mean let Brandon get to the treat? Go, sir.
Treat?
yes.
You got candy? You want to
Go.
tell me?
Go, Mr. Ligon. Go, Mr. Ligon.
I'm waiting for him to be done so then I can yell at him.
He's never done.
Actually, I was gonna read my one from last week because it was so good. Actually, this week was really hard for me because there wasn't very many. I'm gonna say, Iron Sheik, man, you were off your game this week. I was expecting a lot
Never
more
off
from
his
him.
game though.
No, he was off his game. Literally, there's only there's less than 100 tweets on here since I got him. Usually there's several more, and I have to scroll through several days. But I'm going through like the last 5 days worth of stuff, and it's literally just like one or two ones a day. It's not. I guess none of the people are paying him for Twitter shout outs anymore. But this one kind of sticks out to me the most. It's not really typical Iron Sheik tweet of the week. But this Father's Day, Shaky Baby had something special to say to the mothers. Respect all the single mother on earth. You are the real champion. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your Iron Sheik tweet of the week. Doing it different this day.
Fucking bullshit!
I think we could all learn something from that because Iron Sheik, that was very nice.
Poignant moments from.
If you like us, then you got to put a ring on it, jabroni. Ho ho ho.
It's poignant words from the greatest living Iranian American, and that's it. So let's plug in and get this on.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to my channel, youtube.com/TheNerdGenius, I have a new video up there called Ask the Minions. People have been demanding it, so I decided to give them their own segment on the channel, even though I've got 5 weeks left of content. I've been doing a Dave Wade, and I've been flooding my channel full of content. So if you like my stuff, check it out. youtube.com/TheNerdGenius. I literally have 373 subscribers, so that's one video per subscriber now. I've actually checked it out. So check that out, guys. Really good stuff going on there. If you want to donate to my GoFundMe campaign, you can do by going to www.michaelburhan.com. Click on the GoFundMe link there as well.
My bad.
And, check that out. And I've got 5 weeks, of course, for doing this show. 2 more Untitled Movie shows. 5 more Slamcasts. 5 more I Got Gameplays until I call it a career for the next 2 months. And also Burhan the Boy as well, of course, Dave. Sorry. And as you can tell, I'm very, very tired. So I've got the Minions with me. I didn't have them for Father's Day, but I've got them this week, which is great. But it's just extremely tiring when you have to deal with 6 children. So yeah, check all my stuff out. Make sure if you want to tweet me, you can do so at Michael Burhan on Twitter, facebook.com/Michael Burhan actor, and also
just you Burhan, by the way, since you said Minions. Oh, fucking my Minion!
The first time you want to actually get it to work and it doesn't work. And you can also check me out as well. On the YouTubes. So that's everything from me. Oh, Instagram Enigma Mike. So you check me on there, add me on there. 269 followers on Instagram. Trying to get that post up as well. I'm going to have more pictures and stuff coming soon.
269 people is stupid.
269 people are following me. So there you go, guys. Thanks very much. And keep doing what you do. So I'll pass it over to you, Mr. Miguel. Where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter. Twitter.com/UnMovieShow is the official Twitter for the Untitled Movie Show. From there, you can find the link to our official YouTube channel. I was going to put up a video this week, but I just won an auction for some more memory off of eBay. So once I get that, I'll be able to render that. So hopefully I'll be able to put up new content. Otherwise, youtube.com/RUNlim Radio is where you'll find the Untitled Movie Show. We record every Tuesday night, and hopefully it gets put up the day after. Well, every other Wednesday. Our most recent episode just got put up, and it's our second annual Defending Bad Movies series. I did my episode where I defended 5 films, ranging from Independence Day to Scream 3. And basically just defended those films and why I think they're great.
All your movies.
It wasn't good. Nobody actually disagreed with you. All of us actually agreed with you that these movies were considered bad movies, but were good movies.
Yeah, so we'll be looking forward to the following week, in 2 weeks, where we see Burhan's list of his 5 defended bad movies.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one, guys. And also the Untitled Movie Show, Bearhead and the Boy, and Slamcast are going to be getting their own individual YouTubes, individual iTunes and Stitcher Radio links and stuff. So if you want to follow the shows individually, you can do so. That's going to be happening. Hopefully, the ETA is
To Sean Connery, then.
ETA is a couple of days, but I'm going to say give it a couple of weeks, just because I know what Steven's like. Great guy, but is very slow and steady. But you know what they say: slow and steady wins. Slow and steady wins the race. So he's tried, tested, he's doing his thing. So the new site should be up ASAP, including those iTunes links and stuff as well. Dave, where can we find you?
You can find me standing next to the freshly slaughtered carcass of the baby Bambi.
Longways Post 1975 on YouTube, and he's also, just because it's now literally the 27th here in the UK, check him out. He's actually the second of this week's YouTubers of the week, so check out his video.
Very touching video, Bohan. I really enjoyed that.
Everything I said was extremely true. So check that out. Leave a comment, peeps. Make sure that you check out Dave's stuff, and he's got a very good channel that he does his like vloggies and his gameplays. Vloggies. Yeah, vloggies and gameplay videos and stuff like that as well. So check that out. He's got a new intro coming from me as well, so that should be done. And now let's go to you, Mr. Host. Where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Abraham Hope. That's where I just post things that come straight from my brain, no filter, and to the fingers, to the internet. That's how it goes.
Best way.
Positive or negative, man. It comes out. It goes straight to my brain piece, to the internet machine. That's the best place to find me. Maybe some Twitch streams, Brando Calrissian 420 in the future. I did some Batman stuff, but that's. I tried to do it in Batman voice the entire time, but it hurt my voice.
Loser.
Yeah.
So
we can't all be Christian Bale.
Yeah, pretty much. So this is my traditional exit. Support independent wrestling.
Do it in Batman voice. I don't mind.
I support independent wrestling from the backyards to the big leagues. Everywhere you can, you'll find people living their dream.
Yes.
I can do Bane voice very well.
Do it like that then.
Yes, Yes, that's how I'm doing it. Support independent wrestling. We've gone completely insane.
We've gone dark side.
Did like 4 dabs before this show. I am fucking lit. So, support independent wrestling. You can find anywhere you live in the continental United States, Europe. I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not a performing monkey.
Yeah, and I agree, Brandon. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, the next independent wrestler could be the next WWE, TNA, or even Ring of Honor superstar. So make sure you check them out.
United Kingdom, Saturday night, 12 o'clock. Go on to Channel 7 and watch the best of independent UK wrestling.
But I won't just say independent wrestling as well, guys. There's independents out there. Make sure you support it. Make sure you nurture it. Make sure you cultivate it, because in the end, the person that you see that you could help fund the next independent project on Kickstarter could be the next great film director, or the next great actor, or the next great professional wrestler, depending on what, or even the next great game developer. So support the independents in all its glory, because that's gonna be the next big thing in the industry eventually.
Because remember, that might be the diamond in the rough.
Very much so.
So for the absent Nicaragua, who's getting drunk in the lovely state of Oregon, go Ducks. For Miguel Leon, for Dave Wade, for Michael Burhan,
Go Habs.
for the deceased Buddy Landell, for Shane Nichols and Mikey Haste, or Shane Haste and Mike Nichols, sorry, I fucked up the name. TMDK just got signed to WWE, good for them. I am Brandon Ligon, go forth and spread beauty and light. Peace, love, and humptiness.
I try not to do the sponsors with cold intros, Dave.